Hi, welcome to Driving TV, and I hope you are well. In this episode, we're going to talk about for you to learning to drive and for you to pass the driving test. Maybe driving is not your cup of tea, and maybe you are finding learning is difficult for you to learn, or maybe you didn't start at the age of 17 or 18 and now you are maybe in your mid 20 or 30 and you are thinking maybe driving is not your thing. Maybe you think that you are too old for this. So this is what we're going to talk about in this episode. Okay, so maybe you've started learning to drive and you're finding it difficult for you to learn to drive. Or maybe, like I said, you didn't start any earlier at the age of 17 or 18 and maybe now you are in your mid-20s or 30 and you think you are too old for this. Now I'm going to share a story with you, something I've experienced teaching learners learning to drive and to pass the driving test. Hopefully it's going to help you with this story. Now I've started my journey as a driving instructor with BSM. If you have been following my channel for a while, you would know because I have said this before. I have mentioned that I've started my journey as a driving instructor with BSM. And when I was working with BSM, what they used to do is they used to give me a piece of paper, a sheet with the information of the learner, the name and the address, so that I could go and pick them up, teach them, learn to drive and to pass the driving test. So in one of the case, I had this sheet with the name of the people and also the address. So I've turned up at the address and then I see a woman in her 60s coming through the door, the address where I went to pick the learner up. So as she was coming towards me, I was thinking maybe it's one of her relatives, maybe a daughter, her son, or maybe a grandson or daughter is going to learn with me, and she's just coming towards me to tell me that they're coming in 5-10 minutes, they're just getting ready. So she came to me, and as she came, I opened the window and she said that, "Are you the driving instructor?" So I said, "Yes, I am." She said, "Are you going to teach me to drive?" So I just looked at her and I said, "Are you Laura?" Because that's the person, the name on the sheet. She said, "Yes, I am Laura." And so I said, "Are you the person who wants to learn to drive?" She said, "Yes." She was in her 60s. As she was coming, she came towards me walking with a walking stick. She was in her 60s. She came, I opened the door. So I just wanted to know her background. I said, "Okay, have you ever driven before, or is this your first driving?" She said, "I've never driven. It's always been my husband who's been driving everywhere, but he passed away. I think she said it was 6 months ago. And now I want to learn to drive so that I could get around going shopping or somewhere. So I need to learn to drive." She was in her 60s. I keep repeating so that you know that age doesn't matter. Anyway, we started the journey. It took her some time to learn, but she did learn and she did pass her driving test. Now, the reason I started with this story is to tell you that, first of all, she was in her 60s, like I said. Secondly, why was it that she wanted to learn to drive? What was it? What was the motivation? What inspired her to learn to drive? Like I said, she learned and she passed. Took her some time, but she learned and she passed. So what I'm trying to prove to you is that, number one, age doesn't matter. Doesn't matter how old you are. If you started at 18 or 17, it's good. But if you didn't, just because you didn't, and maybe you are now in your 30s, does it matter? You are never too old to learn something new. In this case, is driving. Anything in life, really. If you want to learn something new, the age doesn't matter. If you need it in your life, if it's going to benefit you, if it interests you, if it's good for you, then age doesn't matter. If you want to, you only have one life. If there's something you need, something interests you, something that is going to help in your life, then age doesn't really matter. That is what I'm trying to prove to you. Secondly, this woman, she needed to learn because her husband passed away and she needed to get around. She needed to go out. She needed to go to shopping. So she needed a car. So she needed a car. So that was her motivation. If driving is not your cup of tea, what you need to do is you need to find a reason. Why is it that you need learn to drive? Why is it? You need to ask the question. If driving is needed in your life, then learning will become easy. It's not going to be a piece of cake if driving is not your thing. But what I'm saying is you need to find a reason why you need to learn to drive. What is it? Why? What is this driving going to give you? If you find the reason, and if it's going to benefit you, trust me, it's going to motivate you, it's going to inspire you and make your journey, the learning, is going to become easier. Unless it is needed, unless it's going to benefit you, the learning is not going to be interesting to you. You're not going to be able to learn quickly or easily. It's because you don't find the reason why you need to learn to drive. So what is this learning going to give you? If you learn to drive, what's going to happen? What's the benefit of learning? What is the benefit? So you need to find the reason. The reason could be you want to get around, you want to go to your relatives, you want to go to see your friends, you want to take your children to school, to the places they want to go, you want to go to work. Maybe the place that you're working, maybe it's not near to you, maybe it's a bit too far. And going there with bus and coach and train, it is a bit difficult for you. It's time consuming. You just want to go into your car and get to the place that you want to go. So these are the reasons why you need to learn to drive. These are the reasons why a driving license is going to benefit you. It's going to give you that thing that you need. It's going to make your life slightly easier to get around, to go to places. So if these are the reason, if you start the journey by thinking, by making notes why in your mind, that why you are learning, what is the reason, that way when you find difficult for you to learn, it's going to help you to make it a little easier, because you know at the end of it you are getting a license. And what is this license going to give you? Like I said, the thing that we just talked about. This license is going to open doors for you. It's going to give you a lot of benefits. And because of that reason, even if it's a bit difficult for you in the beginning, eventually you will learn. This woman, like I said in this story, she needed it because she needed to get around. Even though she was in her 60s, because she accepted in her mind and she made her mind up that I'm going to learn and I'm going to pass because I need it. And this is why she learned and she passed. Same with you. And the reason, like I said, I'm sharing this story is just to motivate you, just to inspire you so that you know that driving is not for everyone. And trust me, once you've learned and once you pass, eventually it becomes part of your life. Driving, it becomes a thing. Something, it's like walking. Many of us, we don't like walking. We don't like to walk, but we have to. The reason we walk from here to there, even if you want to walk from here to your car, you still have to walk. Now, you might not enjoy walking, but you still have to walk. Why? It's because it's your part of your life. For you to get around, you have to walk. Driving will become the same. Once you've learned and you've passed, driving becomes like walking. It becomes a thing. So whether you enjoy or not, it's just part of your life. And that's how it's going to be after you pass your test. So I hope this video helps you, to motivate you, to inspire you, so that if you find learning difficult, or maybe you are slightly older than others, or maybe you didn't start like I said earlier, and maybe now you are in your 30s and you're thinking of learning, remember, you are never too old for you to learn and for you to pass. And number two, even if it's difficult, it is not impossible. It is something you can achieve, something you can learn, and something you can pass. So that's my message to you. If you need extra help on learning to drive and for you to pass your driving test, don't forget to take the advantage of our online course, which gives everything a learner needs. It has more than 30 videos on the course, giving a learner everything they need for them to learn and for them to pass the driving test. I will leave a link on the description for you to have a look. Have a look and see and read. If you like it, you could always join the course. And I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you did, please do give a thumbs up, and please do make a comment what you think of the video. And if you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe so don't miss any of my future videos, and hope to see you again on the next video. Bye for now.